AM 1460 WXBR, Peter Zimor, Mike Pava here with you on the Metro South Morning Show this Thursday at the Feet Lounge in Providence, Rhode Island. Andrew WK takes the stage with the Human Party Machine solo tour, and joining me now on the telephone is the man who gave us such songs as Party Hard, It's Time to Party, and Party Till You Puke. I can only imagine he's going to try to bring a party to your morning. Andrew WK. Andrew, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me on the show to party over the telephone.
Andrew, I've seen you live twice before, once in a small intimate setting, once in a large festival setting. This is a more unique setting than any time in which I've seen you before. I have to imagine it's more unique than most performances you do. You usually come with a full band, guitars, bass, keyboard, drums, the whole 9 yards. This show, it's you, a microphone, and a keyboard. How does this work?
Well, this is, first of all, thank you for coming to those other shows. And yes, this is a whole special new kind of party. Now, I've done shows like this, actually, my whole career, solo shows where instead of a band, I bring my keyboard, I bring my drum machine, of course, microphones, and I play my party songs. In fact, I'll play all the ones that you mentioned. Party Till You Party, basically, will be the theme of the night. And it's the way I think of it is whoever's in that room with me at the Feet Lounge, we're going to be in that room together. They become my band for that show. It's as intimate and intense as I can make the show. And the spirit is it's sort of like hanging out with your friends, singing the songs you like, and I'm one of those friends. So it's a get-together. It is a party. It's going to be loud and banging. So don't get me wrong there. I'm going to play the songs that you want to hear as loud as I possibly can and pound away on that keyboard. But I'm calling upon all the good people who are going to be in that room to sing along and make it the party that I know that it will be.
Once again, we're chatting with Andrew WK here on AM 1460 WXBR. Every time I've seen you live and on television live, crowd participation an integral part of your show. The crowd at times is almost as much a part of the show as you. No disrespect to what you're doing on stage.
Of course not. Thank you. That means a great deal to me. I take that as a huge compliment because especially for this show, that is the name of the game. That's what it's all about. I am by your side. I am not a performer who is up on the stage playing down to the audience. I'm actually the audience member watching you perform during the night as well. And that's what keeps it entertaining and thrilling and unpredictable for me. This is going to be a crazy show. It's going to be a memorable night. That is the whole spirit of this. It's not a concert. It's a party.
Your attitude is so optimistic in your music with lyrics like Party Hard, Party Till You Puke, and It's Time to Party. I think it's very fitting that you share the same outlook on life off the stage as well, seemingly, from what I've gathered from this interview thus far.
Well, it's a way to stay psyched up. It does take energy just to live in the world, let alone to party all the time. I set my mind many years ago on becoming a professional partier. But as we all know, you cannot achieve any dream by yourself, especially partying, because the best parties usually have more than just yourself there. And so that's why I'm very grateful. I'm very humbled perpetually that I get to do any of this, and I want to share it with as many people as I can. And again, thank them for helping build the party with me.
You're a very interesting case study in music marketing, Andrew. Your most mainstream hit occurred in 2001, over 10 years ago at this point. And despite it being a decade passing since you really had a hit that was on MTV in regular rotation and rock radio, I still find you on national television more often than not, opining on a number of different subjects. You've just been able to stay relevant due to your outgoing, optimistic personality and your stage shows, which anyone has seen wants to come back and see more of.
Well, yeah, again, I'm very lucky. I don't know what to say. I appreciate that. It's a huge compliment. The song Party Hard was like the ignition of a rocket into the air that hasn't, ever crashed or landed since, and hopefully never will. I'm thankful every day that song exists. It's sort of like, I'm trying to think of a comparison. I mean, it's like, inventing a cheeseburger. You don't need to come up with a new cheeseburger. It works every time. If you like a cheeseburger, it's going to make you feel good every time you bite. And that's what I want to deliver. The music, even this interview, they're all tools. They're all ways to get to that feeling of excitement. And as long as I'm doing that and delivering that, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
What advice do you have bands, and not just bands, but entertainers of any genre, pursuing a career in entertainment?
is work as hard as you possibly can at all times and enjoy it. I mean, sometimes when people ask me, like, what does it take to be a successful musician? I say, well, do you play music? And they say, yes. I say, do you enjoy it? And they say, yes. And I say, well, then you're a successful musician. If you want to be a successful businessman or, make lots of money, those are all, separate endeavors in a way. They can overlap and they can be combined. I guess just get your mind very clear on what it is you want to do. If you could do anything in the whole world without any limitation or restriction and without someone saying like, well, it's going to take this amount of money or, well, there's this problem, just think really big. What would you do? And then, devote your life to doing that at all costs.
Given the fact that you mentioned you've played shows such as the one you'll be playing this Thursday night in Providence throughout your career, where it's just you, a keyboard, and a microphone, I'm sure the dynamic, a lot of your more hard rockin' songs changes quite a bit when it's just you and the keyboard. Would you ever consider putting out any music on an album or something of that nature, stripped down to the nature of this show?
Well, I do have a solo piano album, actually, I released a couple of years ago. There's no, drum machine. There's no singing, really, even. It's just me sort of messing around on the piano. And that was I talk about contrast. That was definitely a new experience, and there was a lot of reasons for doing it that I won't get into here. But that does exist. The album is called 55 Cadillac. But for the show coming up, this one, it's going to be a lot more electronic. Instead of having the acoustic drums, I'll be having the drum machine, so it's really banging. Instead of the guitars, I have more keyboard sounds. So the songs, fortunately, the nature of these songs, they work even if it's just, played with a totally different instrumentation, the power will come through. And I really want people to understand that if you want to go crazy, it's going to be a very, very high energy night.
Not being a pianist myself, Andrew, it appears, having seen you play the piano, that you're talented at playing that instrument. A lot of folks would not expect someone who performs songs that rock as hard as yours with the distorted guitars, the banging drums, to actually have a background in playing the piano. How long have you been playing piano, and what's your training like in music?
Well, first of all, thank you. I don't consider myself a great musician. That's not really my goal. My goal is to be a great partier, but music is a great way to get that party started. So my parents actually started me on the piano path when I was 4.5 with, just very traditional lessons. And I continued those lessons until around age 15 or 16. And then actually more recently I took some lessons again. But again, it's just a method. I'm not really here to impress people, with technical skill. I'm here to party with people.
Once again, we're chatting with Andrew W.K., taking the stage this Thursday at the Feet Lounge in Providence, Rhode Island. Andrew, this is the solo tour that you're doing, but you're coming back in the area later on this fall with a fairly significant tour. That is not your own. You'll be doing vocals for Marky Ramone, famous from the Ramones, with his band Blitzkrieg. How did this come about, and tell us how excited you are?
Well, I mean, geez, now we've switched into a whole other realm. I feel like I'm in a dream. When Marky Ramone asks you to be his singer, you don't think about that. I mean, that's like, God asking you to come hang out with him. It's just so unbelievable. We're playing 34 Ramone songs. I'm singing with Marky on the drums. We've been rehearsing actually already for almost 3 months. I'm still processing it, and that's a good thing. I hope actually I never come down from the high of this actually happening. Our first show is going to be on May 3rd at Santos Party House here in New York, where we will be playing these 34 of the greatest rock and roll songs ever made. I mean, the Ramones, I think people are still fathoming. They're still figuring out how legendary and powerful this music is, and getting to be that close to it is a thrill of a lifetime.
My favorite Ramones song of all time, and I must admit it is on the strength of that legendary scene in Rock and Roll High School where they sang I Want You Around. Is that on the set list or no?
Unfortunately, that one is not. I apologize. But again, this is not my choice. Marky is in charge of choosing which songs we do. But we do play other songs from Rock and Roll High School, including Rock and Roll High School, the title track. We also play I Want to Have Something to Do. I Just Want to Have Something to Do is in the set, as are 32 other amazing songs.
Well, Andrew WK, this Thursday at the Feet Club in Providence, Rhode Island, back in October in Boston with Marky Ramone. Andrew, before I let you go, a few questions I've always wanted to ask you. It is clear as day from this interview and other interviews I've seen with you that you embody the spirit of partying. You have said repeatedly you don't want to be a professional musician. You want to be a professional partier. Would you ever consider putting out a cover album? And if so, would you include the Beastie Boys song, Fight for Your Right to Party, and Eddie Murphy's My Girl Wants to Party All the Time?
Well, I mean, first of all, those are two of the greatest songs ever, not just in the realm of party songs, but in the realm of music, pure and simple. I always bow down to those songs. They are, lit the torch when they came out, and I'm hoping that I can continue the spirit that they were working in as well. And all the party songs in the world, they make the world a better place. That's all I can say.
While we have you on the airwaves with us this morning, could you give us a few bars of Fight for Your Right to Party or My Girl Wants to Party All the Time, or maybe both real quick?
My girl wants to fight for your right to all the time party.
Wow, you combined the two right there. I think that's fairly impressive. Congratulations on that, Andrew. I never expected that coming.
Thank you very much.
Well, once again, we're chatting with Andrew WK. He plays this Thursday at the Feet Lounge in Providence, Rhode Island. Andrew, any final words for our listeners before I let you go this morning?
Well, I thank you again for having me on the show and for spreading the word about the show coming up. All I can say is that I'm a very fortunate person, and I wish everyone out there the same. I want everyone's dreams to come true, because then people will be more cheerful and in better moods. There'll be less conflict. Do what you were born to do, and it can seem very scary. Believe me, it still seems intense and scary to me every day to be alive in the first place. But we got to encourage each other and pump each other up so that we can go out there and truly fulfill our destiny. So keep partying. That's the point of life.
We should have you to have discussions with North Korea. You could be a good ambassador.
I would love to. I think I could really help out over there.
You've done some lecturing and things of that nature. Have you ever considered getting more into politics, or no? Has your past prevented you from doing something of that nature?
No, I mean, I guess anything's possible. I'm being pulled along my life by some unstoppable force, and if it wants me to go into politics, then I will oblige. I'm here to do what I was born to do, and I'm not in control of that, fortunately. I'm just there to do it the best I can, and maybe I'll be president someday, maybe not.
Well, the man was born to party. He parties well. He parties hard. Andrew WK this Thursday at the Feet Lounge in Providence, back in Boston in October with Marky Ramone. Andrew, we'll have to have you on the program again sometime. Hopefully we can have you in studio at some point as well. We'd love to chat with you live in person.
Yes, that would be awesome. And I must say that Providence is one of my favorite places in the whole world, and this is absolutely true that many of my first shows as Andrew WK, my first releases as Andrew WK, all came out of Providence, and getting to play this show there is very meaningful for me on that personal level as well.
And our studios are in Brockton, right between Boston and Providence, so it might be a nice middle point for you to hit in between spots. That's Andrew WK joining us here on AM 1460 WXBR. You're listening to the Metro South Morning Show. We'll step aside for a quick breather. Back with more of the program after this.